Hi, Sue Wager here, trainer from Spanish Springs, MVP. Woo! Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about being able to do a little workout at home, maybe without having as much equipment available to you. As you can see, I do have some equipment, being that I've been in fitness for a very long time. I've collected it over the years. However, I was looking through my household items and I thought, well, what can we use? So I do have this little solid little stand here, this little ottoman, whatever you want to call it, footstool. It's, it is a little slippery, so you always want to make sure safety first. If you do have some kind of yoga mat or solid rug with a non-skid surface on the bottom of it, you could always put your little step stool on it to make sure that it doesn't move on you. So you would be able to do a little step-up activity here, maybe a little bit of a warm-up. Make sure, though, if the surface is soft on here like this one, that you're picking up your feet fully and you know where you're stepping, that you're clear of equipment around you, behind you. I see the Bosu's back there. And then you want to switch feet. You can stay on one side and then move to the other, like this. It's a little bit of a way to get the legs ready for a little bit more work ahead. So that might be a good way to get a little warm up. All right, so if you have something like that around your house, you could use that. I'm gonna move that aside. So that would be a way to get the legs warmed up. Now, soup cans. I tried to make sure that they were relatively the same in how they weighed. So it's New England clam chowder. You could use these for a little bit of a warm-up on the elbows. For some upper body, you could use them for a little warm-up for lateral raises on the shoulders. Always good to get the muscle group warmed up that you are thinking about working. You can do a warm-up that encompasses all of this, or you could do it separately before each muscle group you're going to work. All right. You can also use them. You want to tip a little bit forward, send those hips back a little bit, sit into the heels. See how nice and straight my back is? And row. Get the back warmed up and ready. Using those larger muscles in the upper part of the back and mid-back. All right. So there's soup cans. You could use jugs of water if you wanted to. I've heard wine bottles. I think that seems like it might be a little bit awkward in how you would hold them. Not to say that we don't drink wine, but I think it might be a little bit different trying to actually use those. Got a heavy book? Can use a heavy book for a lot of things. It doesn't even have to be that heavy. You could do a front raise where you're lifting and coming down, and you're lifting and coming down. Everything should be very controlled in the movement. Now this isn't very heavy, but I definitely can feel it working in the front here, a little bit onto the pectorals or the chest muscles, the front of the shoulder. What else could you do with this book? You could do a single leg deadlift with it, coming down and coming back up. Maybe 8 on each leg. All right, find a focal point. This will work the balance a little bit. It's not extremely heavy. It's just enough to get you going. And it teaches you how to work with your balance. You'll feel your lower leg working a little bit. So a book can come in very handy. What else can you do with a book? You could put it over a shoulder and step into a squat and come up. And squat and come up. So a lateral squat with a little bit of weight. Then switch sides and repeat. Again, warming up the legs a little. And good. So you want to make sure you could do anywhere between 8 and 12 reps on each leg. Here, these are simply spandex workout pants. You could use them. The further out I go, the less tension. The further in I bring it, more tension. So you can always use these for a little bit of arm work here in the shoulders, especially in the rear delt. You could tip. You can row. So something simple like that. You can even use these to do a curl. Step on one end and curl up. Now you might not be able to get the same feeling you would with resistance like weights, but certainly it's enough. I can feel it on the bicep right there. All right, and then just simply switch sides. Same thing. You try to keep that hand that's holding the stretchy material and bring it up toward the shoulder right here. Avoid turning it out like a flare. You want to try to keep it in. I mean, the flare work is okay for a little bit, but we always want to be mindful of our elbows, especially as we start to get a little older. Our elbows don't really like that movement as well. We want to avoid making them too sore. You can also take this, you can do some side bends with it. I feel that a little bit on the lats simply just by holding that out there. Okay, some stuff like that. So some household things that you could do for yourself. As far as triceps, you could bring it behind you, hold it with one hand, and pull up. And get a little bit of tricep work done. And then of course switch sides. So you would go to the other side, same movement. Just make sure you're not turning the head or folding in. You don't want your posture looking like this. You want to stay up nice and straight, chin up, all right? As far as like abs go, if you have anything you can land, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be a towel, a beach towel. It could be a nice rug you might have. Maybe you do have yoga mats. Those are very common in a lot of households to have. And you could just do your sit-ups and some crunches, things like that. You could do the plank. The plank is an excellent, excellent exercise. You could do it full on hands. You could do it on elbows, all the way out or on the knees. It doesn't really matter. If you're newer to it, you would start with those elbows right under the shoulders. I think I can show you here in the room. You'd come down. Here it is on elbows, out nice and long. Keep the head nice and pulled back. Tuck in the core. If you have some kind of smartphone where you have a timer, time it down. See how long you can go. If you need to go to the knees, you drop down like this. But you don't stop. Try to hold that for a little bit. All right? So the plank is a great core exercise working all the way around. So hopefully some of that helped you today.